Welcome to The Deep Dive. We're the show that takes source material, digs deep, and gives you those key insights, a shortcut to being really well informed.
And today, we're tackling something really fascinating. A single ancient text. The Sundarikabharadvājasutta.
Yeah, imagine this. You're on a riverbank in ancient India. There's this spiritual encounter happening that basically throws fundamental beliefs about identity, about worth, even about sacred offerings right up in the air.
Absolutely. And our mission, our deep dive today, is to pull out the surprising lessons from this dialogue.
Lessons from thousands of years ago that still speak to how we define ourselves, how we define others, and, maybe most importantly, what makes someone truly worthy of respect. So, yeah, let's unpack this.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We are, as you said, on the banks of the Sundarika River in Kosala.
Right.
And there's a Brahmin, Sundarikabharadvaja. He's right in the middle of performing this very meticulous fire ritual. It's called the Agihuta.
The Agihuta, okay. And this wasn't just like a casual thing, was it?
Oh, no, not at all. This ritual was absolutely central to his spiritual life, his practice.
And after the fire part, there's this next step, isn't there? He had leftover offering, the havyasasai, and he needs to find someone worthy to give it to.
Exactly. He's looking for a worthy recipient.
Why? What was the point of that specific part?
Well, it was a really common practice back then, essential even. By giving this remainder to someone truly worthy, they believed they'd gain merit.
Ah, okay. So it ensures the ritual worked, basically, and gives him spiritual brownie points.
Sort of, yeah. It was a deeply ingrained part of the tradition. So he's looking around, and his gaze lands on the Bhagava, that's the Buddha, who's just sitting calmly under a tree, but he's covered up.
Covered. Okay, so the Brahmin approaches this figure, offering in hand, clearly intending to give it. And this is where it gets interesting, right? About assumptions.
Yes, very revealing. Because as the Bhagava, the Buddha, uncovers his head, it turns out he's shaven-headed. Mano.
Mantu. And for a Brahmin, that visual, that's a big deal.
A very big deal. The text actually captures his, gut reaction. Monteko Ayahova. Hey, this revered one is shaven-headed.
Wow. So shaven heads weren't the norm for Brahmins.
Generally not. It was more associated with renunciants, people who'd left the whole Brahminical social structure behind. So he's immediately judging based on this outward appearance.
And he almost turns back, just based on the haircut.
Almost. It
Yeah.
really shows how powerful those first impressions, those cultural cues can be. He's thinking, nope, not the right guy.
But he doesn't walk away.
Right. That's the key moment. He hesitates. He thinks, well, wait a minute. Some Brahmins are also shaven-headed.
Ah, a loophole in his own stereotype.
Kind of, yeah. And that little internal debate, that moment of questioning his own snap judgment, it opens the door. He decides to inquire further instead of just leaving.
So instead of judging purely on appearance, he decides to ask. And the first question he asks is crucial for that society. Kijakapavan.
What is your origin or caste, sir?
Why was that the go-to question?
Well, in ancient India, your jati, your birth, your caste, it was seen as defining almost everything about you.
Your job, your social standing?
Your spiritual potential, even? For the Brahmin, this wasn't just casual chat. It was the fundamental question to figure out who this person was and where he fit.
Okay. And the Buddha's answer just blows that whole framework apart, doesn't it?
Completely. He says, Na Brahma no mina na Rajaputo, na Visayano udakochino mi.
Which means?
I'm not a Brahmin, I'm not a king's son, not a merchant, I'm not any of those things.
Wow. That's a direct hit on the Brahmin's whole way of categorizing the world.
Exactly. And then he follows up by explaining what does define him. He says he's understood the gotra, the lineage of ordinary people, like he gets where everyone comes from, spiritually speaking.
Okay.
And he wanders the world akinyakano without any possessions.
No stuff.
Nope. Wears a patched robe, no home, shaven-headed, peaceful inside, totally unattached to people.
And then he flips it back on the Brahmin, right? Asking him why he even cared about the caste question, the Gantapanya, in the first place.
Yeah, it's like, why are you asking about these surface labels when there's something much deeper going on?
So this immediately raises the question of what true knowledge even is.
Right. The Brahmin, though, he's still stuck in his tradition. He pushes back a bit, saying, Brahmins ask other Brahmins about their Brahminness. That's what we do. It's about checking the lineage.
Sticking to the script?
Pretty much. But the Buddha doesn't just argue about caste. He shifts tactics. He challenges the Brahmin to recite the Saviti Tipada Katuvisataka.
The Fitri? Okay, what's the significance of that challenge? Is it just a memory test? Like, oh yeah,
Hmm?
recite this.
No, it's much deeper than that. The Savitri was like the ultimate Vedic hymn for Brahmins. Super sacred, super powerful.
The key to cosmic knowledge,
Yeah.
sort of.
You could say that. So by asking the Brahmin to recite it, the Buddha isn't just testing recall. He's subtly hinting that real wisdom, real worthiness, it goes way beyond just being born a Brahmin or following rituals by rote.
It's about actually knowing the deep stuff, embodying it.
Exactly, regardless of your social label.
Okay, so the Brahmin, maybe sensing this shift, he changes the subject slightly, but still related to his practice. He asks, Kinesita. What's he asking there?
He's basically asking, okay, so what is the real foundation? What do sages, kings, Brahmins, even the gods rely on when they make offerings? What makes a sacrifice truly meaningful?
He wants the bedrock principle of it all.
Yes, and the Buddha gives it to him. He defines the truly worthy recipient. It's someone who is Vedagu,
Meaning?
gone to the very end of the Vedas, mastered all knowledge, and also Yadantagu, gone to the end of all things, someone who has transcended everything.
Wow. So not just someone born into the right family, someone who's actually achieved supreme understanding.
Precisely. That's the person to whom an offering truly prospers, truly bears fruit.
And the Brahmin's reaction to that is quite cad, almost. He laments how rare people like that are.
Yeah, he says, Tumhadisan hai adasanena anyajano bunyati purasa.
Because we don't see people like you, the offerings just end up going to, well, other people.
You can feel his disillusionment, can't you? Like, what's the point of my ritual if I can't find the right person?
Yeah. It's a very real frustration.
But the Buddha doesn't just leave him there. He invites him to look closer. He suggests he might find the wisdom he seeks in someone who is santa vichu mananiganirasa,
Which describes...
someone peaceful, smokeless, meaning passionless, faultless, and completely without desire. He's pointing towards inner qualities again.
Not outward status. Got it.
So the Brahmin, he's clearly hooked now. He wants this guidance. He asks straight up, okay, tell me, where does an offering truly prosper? I want my sacrifice to count. He's ready.
And this leads to probably the most famous part of the whole sutta, right? The absolute core teaching.
It really is. Verse 462, the Buddha says, Majjati pucha karanchaka pucha.
Do not ask about birth, ask about conduct.
Kalhavjati yatavero.
Fire arises from wood.
Nakakulino pim muniditi maajanyo hoti hirinisedo.
Even one of low birth, if they are a diligent sage, restrained by conscience, they become noble.
Wow. Boom, right there. It completely flips the script on the whole social hierarchy.
Birth doesn't matter. Conduct is everything.
Oh,
Nobility isn't inherited. It's earned through inner qualities and effort.
exactly. Fire comes from any wood. Nobility comes from any person who cultivates it. Then the Buddha goes on to describe these qualities in detail, talking about a Tathagata, a Buddha.
Right, across a whole series of verses, he talks about being tamed by truth, disciplined, desireless, passionless, having a clear mind.
Overcoming defilements, knowing the end of birth and death, being free from deceit, possessing supreme wisdom. All these cultivated inner states.
So, the ultimate answer to what defines worth. It's not your family tree, it's your character, your wisdom, your actions. It's something you build.
Absolutely. Now here's another twist. The Brahmin is totally convinced. He gets it. And he genuinely offers his food, that havyasat, to the Buddha, saying, okay, this offering is real now. It's born out of genuine respect for the wisdom he just heard.
Makes sense. He found the worthy recipient he was looking for. But the Buddha refuses it.
He does. He says, Gatha bigitam me abjanyo, es sadamo. What's praised in verse isn't for me to eat, Brahmin. That's not the practice for those who truly see.
Wait, why refuse it now? The Brahmin seems sincere.
This is subtle but crucial. It's about the spirit of the giving. The Buddha isn't rejecting the Brahmin's respect. He's rejecting the lingering idea of a transactional ritual.
Because the offering was still technically prepared as part of that formal Aggihuta ritual praised in verse?
Exactly. It's still tied to that system of, I do this ritual, I give this offering, I get merit. The Buddha's pointing to a purer form of giving. He's showing that for someone truly liberated, like himself, accepting an offering tied to that kind of ceremonial expectation, it might accidentally reinforce the wrong idea.
The idea that you need the specific ceremony to gain merit from the giving.
Precisely. It's a shift from ritual performance to pure, untainted generosity. So instead, the Buddha tells him how to really make an offering prosper.
Wow.
He says, offer food and drink anyena in another way, meaning outside that specific ritual context, to ekavalina mahesyaksava kukuhu pasanta.
to a perfect great sage whose defilements are destroyed and whose mind is calm.
Right. Someone embodying those qualities they just discussed. And that person, he says, is Keta Hita Punyapakasahoti.
A field for one seeking merit.
That phrase is everything. It changes the game. Giving becomes about supporting genuine wisdom and liberation, not just ticking boxes in a ceremony. The merit comes from the purity of your heart and the true worthiness of the recipient, cultivated through their conduct.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
It's a deeper level of understanding giving. So the Brahmin, wanting to get this right, asks, okay, how do I identify someone who is actually this field for merit?
Good question, and the Buddha gives him more pointers. Look for someone whose conflicts and laziness are gone,
Okay.
whose mind is clear, free from desires, someone who truly understands birth and death, a real sage.
Inner qualities again.
Always inner qualities. He tells the Brahmin, when you find someone like that, greet them with respect, honor them with food and drink, then your offerings will truly prosper. It's about discernment.
And this whole exchange just transforms the Brahmin, doesn't it?
Completely. He basically bursts out with praise for the Buddha. He calls him the ultimate worthy recipient, the best field of merit, someone the whole world should venerate.
He uses that beautiful metaphor, right?
Yeah.
About the teaching, setting upright what was overturned, revealing the hidden, showing the path, holding up a lamp in the dark.
It's incredibly poetic. He's utterly overwhelmed. And then he does it. She takes refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, the teachings, and the Sangha, the community.
And asks to become a monk himself.
Yes. He requests ordination, receives it, and the text says he eventually becomes an Arahant.
Fully enlightened. Wow. From a Brahmin focused on ritual purity and caste to an enlightened being, all because of this one conversation by the river.
It's an incredible arc of transformation.
So, wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for us listening today?
Well, I think this story, the Sundarikabharadvājasutta, it offers such a timeless lesson, doesn't it? True worth, whether we're talking spiritual teachers or just anyone, it doesn't come from the outside stuff.
Not birth, not status, not even how perfectly you follow religious rules.
Exactly. It's defined by what's inside. Your conduct, your wisdom, your level of inner freedom. The Brahmin's journey really highlights this, starting with snap judgments based on appearance.
That shaven head.
Yeah. Moving through confusion, questioning his own ingrained prejudices, and finally reaching this profound understanding. It pushes us to look beyond the superficial labels.
So the challenge for us then is to think about our own lives.
Yeah.
Who do we consider worthy? Worthy of our time, our respect, our resources, even just our attention.
Mm-hmm. Are we making our own offerings, whatever form they take, based on surface criteria? Or are we really trying to see the inner qualities, seeking out those who genuinely embody wisdom and integrity, those who are, in their own way, a field for merit?
That's a really powerful question to leave us with. Are we looking for the label or are we looking for the conduct? Fascinating stuff.